Alright, sup guys, Matt here, and welcome to a little live Ask Gameloft here on a Monday. Now, the idea behind this is, I know we haven't done one of these in a little while, is that actually we might end up doing this on a much more regular basis, possibly weekly, possibly fortnightly, if it's worthwhile and useful to you guys. Now, in case you don't know, I'm the community manager here at Gameloft on kind of brand side. That means that I look after all of the Gameloft channels in English on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, that sort of side of things. And we've got a whole bunch of other really awesome community managers looking after like the game pages, so the Asphalt pages, the Modern Combat pages. But I'm the guy that looks after Gameloft. So anytime you're talking to someone on the English language Gameloft pages, that's me. A few shouts. Brandon saying, hey, Matt, over on Facebook. We are streaming actually on 3 channels. Yes, 3, not just the 2 we often do. So we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're also on Twitch today, which is quite exciting. We're bringing back, shout out to all you Twitch guys out there. We have revived the Gameloft Twitch channel, and I'm hoping that we can kind of get the stream team back up and running before the end of this year as well. It'd be really, really cool. So if you're a content creator and you're making awesome Gameloft videos, and whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on Twitch, whether that's on Mixer, do keep an eye out. I will be sending something out in the coming weeks, basically getting feedback, getting people involved, and hopefully, yeah, we can start getting a nice little community of content creators together. It's going to be awesome, and I know there are a whole bunch of you guys out there making really, really super cool videos. So yeah, Imad Noor on Facebook saying, hey, lots of questions coming in already. The chat is moving super fast on YouTube. CGI1 Gaming saying, hi, how's it going, man? I will try and give shout outs to as many people as I possibly can. Vector saying hi, Scientist saying hi. Hello to everyone out there. This is an Ask Gameloft. So I know I put out the call for questions at the end of last week on Twitter. Thank you so much to everyone who responded. I've got a big list of questions that I'm going to work through here. We're also going to take stuff from the chat as well. I can see a lot of stuff there about their rivals, about MCVS, about Gangsta New Orleans. To be fair, those are covered in my big sheet. So we're going to get stuck into this. It's going to be really awesome. Let's go. Okay, so first question, I'm just going to start with a few from the sheet before I dive into the chat. I can see a lot of stuff for GNO, a lot of stuff for MCVS, a lot of stuff for Dead Rivals. We're going to talk about all of those things right now. So, first question off the bat came from @Fiend Studios on Twitter, and he asked, can you give us a rough estimate for the date the compatibility update will be released? Now, I'm assuming Fiend is talking here about GNO, and indeed we've had a lot of questions about Gangstar compatibility, but also beyond that to Modern Combat Versus as well. And people asking about kind of the sort of top level AAA quality games that we've put out recently, and why they're not compatible with a huge range of devices. And Sup Hamish saying, Fuzzy, what up? Now that varies depending on the game. So in terms of Gangsta New Orleans, the latest update 2, which ushered in, with which we ushered in like the 4th of July, ridiculously awesome event, and a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff. That added in a good few thousand handsets to the compatibility list. The team are continuing to work on compatibility. We know it's a huge concern. We know a whole bunch of you are really itching to play this game, and we want to put this game into the hands of as many of you as we possibly can, because yeah, we want people playing our games. So while I can't give you a hard date for that, do know that the team is continuing to work on it. And if you haven't already, please get involved in the forums. Better yet, sign up and get involved with the Gangsta New Orleans Discord server. All of our Montreal, I think pretty much all of our Montreal teams, so the guys working on Gangsta New Orleans, the guys working on Modern Combat Versus, and Dungeon Hunter 5, they've all set up Discord servers for their respective communities. So the best way you can get in touch with the devs directly, with the community guys directly, is through those Discord servers. It's real time. They're putting in a whole bunch of really awesome time and effort to respond in real time wherever they can. They've got some really, really good mod teams up and running as well. So make sure you're getting involved with the community there, because if you've got feedback, positive, negative, suggestions for the future, whatever, those are the places to get involved in the conversation over on the forums and in the Discord servers as well. Hopefully that's going to spread out. I mentioned that we're looking at doing some content creator stuff here, like multi-title stuff on Gameloft. Hoping to set up a Discord server for that down the line as well. There'll be more on that once I've unraveled all the thoughts in my brain and put them down on the deck, and we actually get that ball rolling. But yeah, for things like Gangstar, please get in touch with the devs, with the community. Give your feedback in the forums and in those Discord servers. So while I can't give you guys a hard date for when the next update and the next compatibility update is going to be, I can say that if you're in those groups, you will hear about it first. So yeah. Cool. All right. So we got a load of questions about, similarly in terms of like release dates, when will MCVS be globally released? That came from Rico BFX. When will MCVS hit globally? From Damian, and when is the release date for MCVS from the Swift Shadow? Now, we can't even estimate on this, and to be honest, that's simply because, and I've said this before in previous live streams, game development is a process. I'm going to make a little video in the very, very near future, just really, really clearly explaining what soft launch is, because I get questions about this every day on every single one of the channels. Soft launch, the best way to think about soft launch is to liken it to something like alpha or beta access or Steam kind of early access. The difficulty with mobile gaming is that you can't simply hand out a whole bunch of beta codes. The marketplaces don't really allow you to do that. So it would be wonderful if we could, man. If we could do if we could handle like 50,000 beta keys and get you guys in and make sure we got people who we knew were just gonna rigorously test things and give us valuable. Oh my god, we would definitely do that. But unfortunately, the best way to do live testing on mobile is through this means of a soft launching, which basically is regional. So you region lock it to a low population area or a low population country, somewhere where you can do live testing in a very controlled environment. And here's the thing, you probably have noticed that a load of our games are online. This is for a whole bunch of reasons. Piracy and hacking is only a part of it. We like to do a whole bunch of things with connected services. It's really, really cool. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the back end. Our games can get very, very intricate in terms of connectivity and saving gameplay data, but also allowing us to do really, really cool asynchronous multiplayer things in our games. And the best way, well, the only way we can really, really test those things fully to make sure that they're bug-free as soon as we release worldwide is to live test. And the best way to do that is through soft launch. So while I can't give you a hard date yet for the global release of MCVS, and boy, we know you guys are excited, and we're excited to get the game into your hands. I can't give you a hard date yet, but what I will do is just reiterate that point I made earlier about Gangstar. Get involved with the communities, make sure you're subscribed and following all of the game channel social media feeds as well, because as well as Gameloft, we've got ones from Modern Combat, Asphalt, Gangstar, pretty much all of our titles. Make sure you're following there. Make sure you get stuck into the communities, in the forums, in the Discords. Get to know your community team. They're really, really awesome. Haruki, the community manager for Modern Combat, is always in the Discord server. She's awesome, and she will readily answer any questions that you have. And yeah, that's where you're going to get the freshest updates, the hottest news. That's where you're going to find out about release date first. We want to be able to tell you, and as soon as we have a hard date, we absolutely will. I will say that it's not far off, and I know it feels like we've been saying that for weeks, but it's really, really not that far off. The game is in a really good state. There's just a few final kinks to sort of iron out, and then yeah, hopefully we can get to global launch really soon. Because I want to play some of you guys. That's right. We're gonna have some serious game nights going on once this thing launches. It's gonna be really, really good. I'm very, very excited. Just along the same kind of train of thought, Sahil Dude 2 on Twitter asked, can we have clickshoot in MCVS? So a button is going to be added. More control options are being added in the very, very, very near future. You might have seen the tease we put out the other day with the shoot button on there. We know a load of you guys have been asking about it, and this is another reason why you should get stuck into the forum, stuck into the Discord, because fan feedback, it really matters to us. We do read everything. We check up on everything. Sometimes it's not necessarily possible to fold everything into our games, but if people really want it, it will happen. Yes. So the button there came directly from fan feedback. We knew people were interested in having custom control options in that game. And yeah, for my money, I actually really love the auto shoot. I really do. I'm a big fan of mobile games streamlined for touch interfaces, because even with a button, it's a little clunky. Like buttons on a touch screen, in some ways, I don't know. You're basically artificially putting a control system onto a touchscreen. Whereas I like the auto shoot for that sort of simple, streamlined reason. Purely a kind of design thing in my case there. Very, very personal opinion. Like, definitely not company opinion. This is very much my own personal opinion. Same reason I like Iron Blade, because it's purposefully really, really made for touchscreens. Really, really love it. It's awesome. Right, let's dive into the chat. Jackie saying hi, Matt. Where Gangstar Rules saying hi. How's it going, everybody? Really, really, really good to see you all. Welcome to welcome to Ask Gameloft. Oh, so really, really interesting, very, very cool question there in the chat that I'm just going to pick up now before we go back to the sheet. What is your favorite Gameloft game of all time, Matt? Smiley face. And you guys feel free to answer this one as well. What's your favorite? What are your favorite Gameloft games of all time? That's a really hard one, actually. I got a soft spot for the Asphalt series, but do you know what it is? It's N.O.V.A 3. For me personally, my favorite Gameloft game, N.O.V.A 3. Love it. Absolutely love it. It was one of the first games that I played on mobile. It kind of made my jaw drop at the time in terms of the graphics. And I know they don't look like super duper great now, but at the time, I think when I played N.O.V.A 3 for the first time, it kind of blew my mind in terms of, there are some games that blow your mind in terms of what mobile is capable of. And this was before freemium really took off. It was like pinnacle of premium gaming, like Gameloft, like pioneers in their field, that sort of thing. And N.O.V.A 3, it just made my jaw drop. I loved every second of that game. It's just really cool. From the explosive beginning all the way through to the ending, like it's super good. I also like the classic Dungeon Hunters as well. Really, really, really solid titles. Really, really good stuff. And there are a few going way back as well in terms of like some of the Java stuff we used to do that sticks. But if I had to pick one, it's N.O.V.A 3. That game is so great. and actually, I was asked to interview when I interviewed for the job here. Like they asked me if I'd played any Gameloft games. I was like, of course. And I said N.O.V.A 3. N.O.V.A 3 is basically why I'm here. It's a great game. Great game. Right. Okay. Back into the chat. Let's see what other people replied with. Lots of people saying, oh, okay. Lots of people saying Gangstar New Orleans, Gangstar Vegas as well. Lots of love for the Gangstar series. The classics as well. Yeah, the old school like top-down, the early Gangstar titles, absolutely great. Love them. Absolutely love them. King Dart for life. That is going back. Wow. That is awesome. Good shout there. Good shout. Lots of people saying MC4. There's still a lot of love for that. Mortal Kombat 5 as well. All right. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Let's jump back into the questions. So I said I'd go through a few of these. Abish Kick saying, hello, Matt. Can't wait for Dungeon Hunter 6. So we've got nothing to announce on that front yet, but have you guys checked out? Oh my god, for all you metalheads out there, tell me you've checked out the Avenged Sevenfold stuff. I basically almost peed in excitement when I heard that was happening. It's so good. And the song is banging. The song is absolutely cracking. It's really good. Like the chorus is a little bit Shepherd of Fire. Don't know if you guys know. I don't know. But those oh man, those rocks. And that whole level rocks. It's truly awesome. And that's kind of exciting for us. And I'm going off a bit of a tangent here, but that sort of thing is really exciting for us. Came about one of the first kind of big partnership things we've been able to do as a subsidiary of Vivendi now. Obviously, they own Universal Music. That was like a nice partnership that came together really well. Avenged Sevenfold, great fit for Dungeon Hunter 5. If you haven't played it yet, download it for free. check it out. It's totally awesome. Lychee10 saying, hey Gameloft, please answer my question. Is Heroes of Order in Chaos 2 real? Not to my knowledge. Apologies. No, I'm going to pour water on that, I'm afraid. There is nothing in the pipeline in terms of that right now. Nothing to announce on that front, I'm afraid. Yeah. Right. Back in. So, there's something that I can't talk about that I need to address. Which is, and I'm going to do this because loads and loads of people have asked me about it. Like Brandon asked, Olivier asked, Sonic Boom asked, and that is what is happening with Sonic Runner's Adventure. Now, part of the reason I can't say anything about that is because I'm not entirely sure where we're at with that. I'm not entirely sure if there is. There's nothing we're going to announce at this current stage. I know some of you guys saw the leaks that came out, but we can't really talk about it right now. Obviously, it's a title in partnership with another publisher. But yeah, we've got nothing to announce on that front. I'm really sorry, guys. As soon as I do, as soon as like I know more, as soon as we have something to announce on that front, we'll let you guys know. You can access it in countries that have access to the WAP store. So the kind of like online store, if you're on kind of an Android phone or anything like that, you can actually access it through the WAP store. But as for other platforms currently, nothing to announce on that front. As I say, when I do, if I do, you guys will be the very first to know. Abnaim saying, hey man, Ab, you're a regular. Welcome back. Welcome back, my man. Welcome back. Leroy asking, how do I go onto the customer care? So every single one of our games will have in-game options for customer care. Simply fill out a form there. Send it in. They should give you a ticket number. If I haven't responded in a few days, hit me up on social and I can escalate that shiz for you. Am I saying Gameloft the best? Oh, thanks, man. That's really nice. That's really nice. Take that to heart. It's good. Squeaky Bane. Actually, yeah, Squeaky Bane DM'd me this week and asked, how did you end up working in the games industry? I love questions like this that go a little bit beyond. If you guys have any questions, actually just anything really, serious, funny, whatever, I'm going to answer them on these ones. We're going to need something to populate Gameloft Asks if we do make this a weekly thing to ensure we're not always talking about release dates. Although, you know, it's important information. But yeah, Squeaky Bane DM'd me and asked me, how did I end up working in the games industry? And I get this occasionally, and it's a really cool question. I really like answering, I really like talking about this because there are a whole bunch of people out there who look at games and go, man, how do I do that? And then they never really investigate and they go off and they, you know, it's perfectly good to go off and become, I don't know, a banker, whatever. But you could be working in games and doing awesome stuff with video games, which is totally cool and rad. And the way I got started was I basically just started my own blog. And this is a way a whole bunch of people I know end up getting started. It's the same with YouTube and Twitch as well. Like the platforms there for putting yourself out there, making yourself known to the world are super plentiful, and you don't need that much to be able to get started these days. Like even like smartphones are perfectly capable of streaming directly from there now. So yeah, the best advice in terms of getting into games is start doing the thing that you want to be doing, whether that's social media, whether that's writing, whether that's video editing. Start doing it. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for free, for anyone else for free necessarily. The best thing you can do, if it's sort of journalism or criticism or video making, anything like that, is start pitching to places. But otherwise, yeah, just build a portfolio up. Start doing cool stuff on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube. And then use that as a portfolio to springboard yourself into job interviews, into applying for roles within the games industry. Keep an eye on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has worked wonders for me. But yeah, if you're interested in getting into games, the best thing you can do is just start broadcasting. And whether that's in written form or on camera, it doesn't really matter. Just show you've got a passion for it. And yeah, start making some cool stuff. and that will stand you in really good stead. Okay, back to the chat. Someone asking how old am I? So, oh man, that's a mean question to ask. I turned 30 this year in March. Right. I've held off long enough. A lot of people have asked me this. There's a whole bunch of comments coming in about it. Vladdy T saying, hey man, tell us, when is Dead Rivals coming worldwide? We've had so many questions about this. It's insane. So yeah, Dead Rivals. Dead Rivals is another thing I can't really talk about, but there's a very, very good reason for that. So Dead Rivals has already gone into soft launch. You've probably noticed this, actually, because a whole bunch of a few of the press sites picked it up. So Dead Rivals is our kind of multiplayer zombie kind of open-ish world shooter. It's not like true open world, but it is quite expansive. But we're not quite ready to talk about it yet. And there's a very good reason for that. It's in a really, really, really early stages of testing right now. It's only available in like one country. And yeah, because it's so online heavy, because it's kind of very dependent on multiplayer, the team needs to do a lot of live testing. But it's still really, really, really in early active development. There's still a lot of work to be done on it. I mean, the bones are there. They're starting to flesh things out, but there's still quite a lot of spit and polish to go into that game. So until it's kind of ready for us to really talk about and really like blast out the airwaves, we're keeping quiet on it for the moment. I did want to address it here because so many people have asked about it, and from my perspective, sometimes it seems a little bit silly for us to just like drop those things out there and then be like, we're not going to talk about that. So yeah, although I can't really talk about it, it's worth acknowledging that yes, it's there, it exists, and when we do have stuff to share, we will do. We had some quite interesting questions come through on Twitter as well. So Nizzy Squad sent in this one saying, do you think your games will hold up after 2020? And my honest answer to this is, I damn well hope so. Like, I really do. I really hope they do. Asphalt 8's been running like 6 years, which is insane when you think about it. Like, it's crazy. That game has just gone from strength to strength to strength. It still looks amazing. It still plays amazing. It's really good. There will be future Asphalts. I can confirm that. There will be future Asphalts. Of course there will be. Ayush, what up, man? But yeah, I think with Vivendi coming in last year, like there were a few cycles we needed to get through and finish. So you're not going to see like there hasn't been like massive shakeups, but we are going to have to think smarter as a company, and a lot of that's going to have to do with kind of like considering how we develop games, how we make them, like the concepts that are followed through production and into publication, and then how we make those run. Like the biggest games right now are the ones that get published and then get built upon year upon year upon year upon year. Like you think about some of the biggest games out there right now, they've been running for years and years. And we want to be part of that conversation. We want to be building communities around our really, really cool IPs, things like Asphalt, things like Modern Combat. So yeah, I sincerely hope we're still relevant in 2020, simply so that I still have a job, along with the other 6,000 people at Gameloft. But alongside that, I genuinely believe that we are getting smarter. We are learning. It was a massive curveball for Gameloft, going from pioneering and spearheading premium into freemium, and we still got a way to go, but I do think in terms of building games that are enormously fun, appeal to a wide range of people, and can be built upon, expanded upon, like there are content maps for our games that, stretch out months and years. So I do hope that, by 2020, we're still rocking it. Hopefully rocking it even harder. Hopefully with you guys still in tow, because, we're nothing without the people who play our games. So Yes. So Daniel Lian actually has sort of cracked on to the next thing I want to talk about, which he said, why has Gameloft stopped making pay once and play games? Now it's just been freemium. And this ties into a question from Jesse, sorry, my afro's going my eyes, from Jesse Northup on Twitter. And he sent in a really, really interesting question, which was, if piracy wasn't a problem, so if hacking wasn't a problem, if piracy wasn't a problem, would Gameloft still be making premium games? Now, I don't have a quantum telescope, so I can't really see into alternative universes and all that sort of stuff. But I don't believe that would necessarily be the case. I'm going to explain why. So, a few years back, basically the entire market shifted, especially for large sort of game publishers, from premium to freemium. And once free-to-play started taking off, people very quickly realized that that's how you get a big install base. Because as soon as you lower the barrier to entry, people start downloading. And then once they're downloaded, then they're more likely to stick with your game, right? The more people download, the more people are going to stick with your game. That's the hopeful logic anyway. So yeah, the other part of that is that not enough people were actually buying premium games. So the market became saturated as more and more people got into mobile, especially with the advent of smartphones, the ease with which it was, people were able to make and create mobile games, the widely accessible development tools that got released since the advent of things like Unity as well. People have just been able to really pick up mobile development and indie game development fairly easily. And that's not to say there's no skill involved in it, but those sort of roadblocks that were there, that might have been there in the past, are gone. Now you get bedroom developers who have full-time jobs and then code in the nighttime, creating awesome games, which is wonderful. But you went from a market that was pretty small to suddenly being enormous. And so, you have to strive that little bit harder. And then once you lower the barrier to entry, you have to stand out from the crowd that little bit more. And you have to be able to justify a premium price point. And when you have a whole bunch of indies also creating games, when you have a market that is literally kind of been blown wide open by this new kind of monetization strategy, or this new kind of payment strategy, whatever you want to call it, things are going to change. And as a company, you kind of have to go, as a company as large as Gameloft, you have to kind of go where the audience goes. So where was our audience going? And when you look at titles like Modern Combat 5, for example, which started as premium titles, and you look at the numbers that it did before it went freemium, and then you look at the numbers that it did when it went freemium, it becomes a little bit of a no-brainer, because you have single figures in terms of the premium downloads, which are good, but you can't necessarily build on that. And for the freemium stuff, those are the games that you can really, really stack. You can get people involved with. The barrier to entry is low, and people can enjoy, I guess, as much of the game as they like without paying a penny. So yeah, it kind of ended up as a win-win for everyone in a way, but really that shift was driven by consumer activity. So yeah. Eduardo's saying, with the new technology 2020 will give, I bet Gameloft will make their games even better. Man, I hope so. That's what the aim is, to always be getting better. We're not perfect. We know that. But yeah, we're going to continue striving to make the best games we possibly can, make you guys proud, get Gameloft games onto more handsets, into more hands, get people playing more. It'll be awesome. All right, let's dive back into the chat. X-Rage saying, talk about A9. We can't really talk about A9 because at the moment A9 doesn't really exist. Asphalt 9 doesn't really exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It's not something that we've announced. It's not something that we're going to talk about. The team's very much focused on Asphalt 8, Xtreme, and Street Storm. It's awesome, but Asphalt's our biggest and most long-running series. It's got the highest number of sort of followers on the game-related social channels. So the chances of a of another numbered Asphalt game are pretty high. They are pretty high, but no, there's nothing to really talk about on that front right now. Okay, right. I'm molting onto my question sheet. This is weird. So we also got a nice little question from Solar Noose on Twitter, which was, is Cal teaming up with Spider-Man, Damian, and a Porsche in Nova 4? So probably not Spider-Man or the Porsche, I'm going to be honest, in any potential future Nova titles, simply because like we'd have to work out the licenses around those. I mean, yeah, Porsche's working pretty well right now. And did you guys see the little teaser, the little Street Storm teaser there? Yeah, cool things coming to that game. But we do get asked a lot about Nova 4, and I can honestly say there's been nothing here internally. So there might have been whispered conversations on the far side of the world that I don't know about. But as far as I know currently, there are no plans for Nova 4 at this time. I do want to say this, and I've said this before in a previous live stream as well. Like I think the team was surprised at how many people at the huge response, like the love that Nova Legacy got, and it's really cool to see. And I cannot stress this enough. I've said this in the past before as well. Like when you guys comment, when you champion things, when you write positive stuff and say this game is awesome, like when you write negative stuff as well, like we listen to that. But when it makes our developers really, really happy. Like in a sea of 99 negative comments, if there's like one awesome positive one, it makes our developers really, really happy. They do read everything. And I think we were not like taken aback or like surprised necessarily, but just the level of love that Legacy got, the level of love shown for Nova as a series, it's really heartwarming. It's really overwhelming. It's lovely, and thank you so much. And for that reason, you've probably noticed we've started up a Nova brand Facebook page. We're starting to build a community around Nova. The YouTube channel is up and running now, so do check that out. Update 2 for Legacy has just dropped. There are big things coming for Legacy, big things that I cannot talk about. But yeah, that game is going from strength to strength. More and more people are playing it each day. It's really cool. The overhaul is really awesome with the new weapon systems in there. And yeah, it's been really, really great to see. So as we're building this community around Legacy, around Nova as a brand, share the love. Make sure you're telling Kate, the community manager there, how much you love this series, because it will help. Like if enough people are clamoring for it, if enough people are shouting out that they want a Nova 4, that they love the Nova series, that Legacy is awesome, who knows? That's all I'm going to say on that front. But we do read it. We do look at all that sort of stuff. It's really cool. Andrew Paradise there. Are you just comparing Gameloft? Gameloft is the Michael Jackson of mobile gaming. I think that's good. Is that good? I'm hoping that's good. I mean, the king of pop could move. Oh yeah. Never forget. What a ledge. Soyan saying, when and how will the Android users get their pre-reg and loyalty rewards for Gangstar? You should have received them already. If you haven't, please use the in-game options or the form via the customer service part of the website. Do get in touch with support. They should be able to help you out there. Also, again, get involved with the Discord. You can probably find Sean in there directly and ask him. I'm not entirely sure what the case, like what's happening there with the pre-reg stuff, especially for kind of like newly added devices. But yeah, make sure you get in touch with customer support. And yeah, you can put your questions directly to the dev team in the Discord. Lots of people asking about MCVS again. So we dealt with MCVS quite early on at the start. There is no global release date. There's no hard set date just yet. I know you guys are really, really up for it. please, please, please join the conversation in the forum, join the Discord community. As soon as we have a hard date, we will let you guys know. It's still in soft launch. Things are still being tweaked. You can find ways around soft launch. That's all I'm going to say. I can't really tell you how or endorse that or whatever. All I will say is just give it a Google. Yeah, there we go. Because, yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, we covered Asphalt 9. Okay, so Ryanki asked, what games are you doing next? Please answer. So yes, Ryanki, for you, I will. We've got a few things coming out this year. Some that we've announced, or some that have slipped into soft launch. So MCVS, Dead Rivals. Some that we have not. So there are a couple of titles out there slated for 2017 that, yeah, you guys don't know about yet. But can't say anything about that. But there are a few games in the pipeline that are currently in live testing, in soft launch. War Planet Online is one of them. Definitely check that out if you get the opportunity. And of course, Dead Rivals is probably the biggest other one as well. Yash saying, will we get N.O.V.A 4? Dude, I just answered this. So the honest answer at the moment is, who knows? Like, we don't know yet. It's always a possibility. There are no plans currently in the pipeline for it, but yeah, never say never. Never say never. Brandon's saying you should release a premium game and see how many people buy it in 2017. It will be interesting to see. So I will say this: there is a new initiative here, not necessarily for premium games, but for kind of slightly smaller, more creative titles. We're doing a lot of kind of internal pitching, and this is company wide. I've spoken about this a little bit before. So on a quarterly basis, there's an opportunity for everyone in the country to sort of pitch ideas. And then we kind of vote on them as a company. The best ideas get kind of fast-tracked into prototyping and then, might eventually see the light of day on an app store. But there are initiatives going on right now, like we're doing cool little things like internal game jams within the studios, really intensive creative things that will hopefully yield, interesting games, interesting titles. And I mean, I think... And this is me speaking personally here. I think testing new things is something that the company's going to be more open to going forwards. Testing out different approaches is something that we've kind of got to look at. It's something that we tried with N.O.V.A, actually N.O.V.A Legacy, with the whole kind of partitioning the offline and online. And the only real downside to that was that obviously with an offline game, we can't track data very well, so we can't see what people are necessarily playing, what parts they're enjoying the most. It's quite difficult to track player behavior in offline titles and improve based on that. So often quite a lot of the things that get added in updates or get tweaked or bugs that get fixed come as a direct result of being able to see live player data, being able to get that data really, really quickly, really, really easily, and analyze that quite swiftly. And that's kind of another reason why a lot of our games are continuously online, because it makes improving them easier. It makes kind of getting that feedback, finding out where players are going, what they're doing, what they're playing most of, how they're experiencing things, all that sort of stuff, a lot easier to kind of obtain and learn from. And that's the thing, yeah, that all gets fed back into updates and future things. Eduardo is saying, will there be more updates for MC5 when Modern Combat Versus comes out? That is a great question. Yes, excellent question. And the answer is yes, absolutely. We've been really careful about this because we don't want one to sort of cannibalize the other in a way. And it's worth noting that Modern Combat Versus is a very different beast to Modern Combat 5. It's not a numbered Modern Combat game. It's not like the next kind of big installment in the series. It's not Modern Combat 6. Like, it's absolutely not Modern Combat 6. That's very, very important. So we see them as kind of complementary. to one another. They're very different games. So, Modern Combat 5 is very much a kind of traditional, it's all in the title, Modern Combat shooter. And the multiplayer styles for that, like, I think the new update's going to add even more. It's going to add another kind of gameplay type. They're always building on that. So Modern Combat 5 isn't going anywhere. And obviously, you've got the campaign there as well. So when Versus comes out, that's really going to be more about... it's all about the multiplayer. Like, there is no campaign for Versus. We're hoping that the two can exist side by side. And we've been quite careful in terms of the teasing to try and make sure that the new doesn't completely engulf the old. Because, Modern Combat 5's got a lot of life left in it. It's an awesome game. Millions of people are still enjoying it every single day. And obviously, it's quite nicely established now as a mobile esports title. And we're hoping the same will be said of Versus too. We're gunning for that with the... Pun. we're gunning for that with the kind of multiplayer focus on Versus, but the gameplay types are going to be different, and the way they play, the way they feel is completely different as well. Versus is a bit more futuristic. You've got elements like the wall running, like the really, really very different classes. In many ways, actually, Versus feels a lot like a kind of first-person MOBA. In some ways, simply because the sort of agents, the different agents are so varied and rich, and the special abilities are so varied and rich. It kind of feels like that. We're really hopeful that the two games will be able to coexist side by side. I hope that answers your question. There are going to be loads more updates for MC5. It's not going anywhere. Marcio is saying, love your games. Fist bump for you, Marcio. I did read it. I did read the comment. There we go. I see our Nightbot is just quoting Duke Nukem at people right now. Oh, so Marcio also said, can we make a survival game? So, it's not... I don't think we've got a survival game per se in the pipeline right now. I guess Dead Rivals is more of a kind of sandbox action title. But that would be cool. That'd be cool. Maybe I'll pitch that at the next kind of quarterly pitching sesh. That'd be really cool. One thing that I'm going to be internally pitching, and I know so many of you guys would kind of like this. So this is my idea, kind of like legacy Gameloft titles, updated, and I'm talking about even the old Java stuff, because you know how Sega and Atari and all those guys, classic games, you often see those compilations. Would you guys like to see a compilation of seriously old school Gameloft titles? Let me know. Would that be a cool thing to do? Hit me up, because if enough people really, really like that idea, hit me up with some hearts on Facebook. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit me up with some hearts on Facebook. If enough people really, really like this idea, I'll totally pitch that as the next thing. Yeah, maybe we can crowdsource by pitching ideas. Yeah, for our internal stuff. That'd be really cool. We'll see. Oh yeah, the heart's coming in. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right, so we actually got quite a specific, it was less of a question, more of a statement, more of a comment from High Lord over on Twitter earlier today, which was, he basically said, we need the Asphalt Xtreme update to utilize duplicate cards. And a few people have asked me about sort of duplicate blueprints and that sort of stuff in Asphalt Xtreme. Now, this isn't a full announcement by any stretch of the imagination, but I can reveal that the team are working on something to do with that. They're working on a kind of a new booster where you'll kind of be able to overclock your rides using duplicate blueprints. That is a really hard thing to say. Duplicate blueprints. So yeah, you'll be able to basically kind of overclock your vehicle with duplicate blueprints. Jesus Christ, I need to put that on a t-shirt. Duplicate blueprints. That's the idea as well. That's the plan. Things could still change. That's what they're currently kind of working towards at the moment. That's one of the things they're currently working on. And there's going to be a new feature as well called, potentially called Rank Up, where people will be able to use blueprints and tools to rank cars up beyond their current maximum levels. So there are things coming. And yeah, again, this is another thing. Direct feedback, it does pay dividends. It might not come in the next update, but you might see it an update or two down the line. So yeah, in terms of Asphalt Xtreme, the team are aware and they are working on it. Oh man, Yash saying, please make a Game of Thrones game. Everyone's going Game of Thrones mad, which is awesome because it's back. And I love it. But there are no plans for a Game of Thrones game right now. Obviously, I think Telltale have their Adventure series out, which is, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, obviously that would be a licensed title. I don't think there are any conversations happening there right now. But yeah, it could be interesting. My House saying, make a new RPG game, please. Well, think about it. Yeah. Could be interesting. Daddy Review saying, N.O.V.A Legacy update rolled out recently. Will we be streaming it? Potentially. The difficulty with Android streaming. So this is something that, this is kind of more of my personal bugbear than anything. The difficulty with Android streaming is that if you have a USB-C device, HDMI currently haven't developed a cable adapter for USB-C. For USB-C phones, specifically phones. I think you can. There are adapters for laptops. There are adapters for certain tablets and kind of flip books and ultrabooks. But in terms of handsets, in terms of video out on a handset, HDMI haven't really got their act together yet for USB-C, which is a real shame. You can stream directly from device, but you need to use the external mic to do it. And I did a little test the other day because I was going to stream update 2. And unfortunately, using my OnePlus 3T, which I love, but yeah, holding a phone horizontally, at least one of your hands is going to be covering the speaker and the microphone. So it's not necessarily the best. And because it doesn't capture the in-game audio, not really up for doing that. We could do it on a lower end device potentially, and we could also do a kind of Windows there are sort of PC builds out there. I mean, they're developed for mobile, but you can kind of sort of keybind. So there's a potential we could stream sort of that, but that does give you an unfair advantage in multiplayer because obviously it's much easier to aim with a mouse than it is with your thumb. So we may get around to streaming some update 2. I hope so, but not quite yet. Yeah, Neos Gaming is saying stream with the YouTube gaming app. It works really, really, really nicely, but as I say, it doesn't capture sound from the device, so you get teeny stuff through the microphone, and that would be fine if I was streaming on a personal channel. But for brands, we kind of want to showcase the best possible experience. So yeah. So Mercy are asking, does Gameloft have games made with Unity? So actually, pretty much all of our engines, I think, are proprietary. A lot of our teams make the engines themselves. There's a lot of back end stuff that goes into Gameloft games. I'm going to be really honest. I know very, very little about the ins and outs of actual development. So yeah, that's sort of a question more for the game teams than it is for me. But I do know that we haven't really embraced Unity. We tend to create things pretty much in-house, create our own in-house engines. But it might well be something we look at in the near future. Again, who knows? Okay, diving back into the chat. That dragon in the background is the highlight of this stream. Yeah, we need a name for him or her. I can't. I'm not entirely. Is he a boy or a girl? I'm not sure. He's a I kind of think of him as a boy. A mischievous little rascal. We need a name for him. Chat. I need you guys in the chat. Help me out with a name. Help me out with a name. LB, when will MCVS be out for Android? We will have information on the global release date when we have it, really. Like, when it's ready is the honest answer there. X-Player saying, ask my question, please. All right, scrolling. What was... you might have to retype the question. If it's about compatibility, again, game forums are where you will get the most regular updates for that. Michael says, hi. Hi, Michael. Welcome. We're going to be putting this up on YouTube as well, like after the stream. It'll be there as a video on demand. And I'll get some timestamps for the description so you guys can catch up if you've joined us pretty late in the stream. You're able to catch up with all the stuff that we've kind of discussed today. Danny D saying, hi, how are you today? I'm pretty well, thanks, Danny. How are you? How's it going? Name him Fuse. That is a badass name for a fire-breathing dragon. I like it, Fuse. Also, it's kind of connotations of kind of small and cute, but fiery and awesome. Lots of people asking about Spider-Man. So we haven't got any new Spider-Man games in the pipeline as far as I know currently. Obviously, Spider-Man Unlimited is out, and there was a Homecoming update. Homecoming, by the way, oh my god, it's so good. So good. So good. Go see it if you haven't already. But yeah, there is a Homecoming update as part of Spider-Man Unlimited. If you haven't played it yet, do. So many things to collect. So many things for like Marvel fans. Really awesome. It's great. It's totally, oh man, that game is so awesome. Avid saying, hi. Bob, perfect name for a dragon. I think Neos has, I think Fuse was a little bit better than Bob. I think Fuse was a little bit better than Bob. Just putting that out there. Name him Matt Jr. So Yash asking for Gangsta New Orleans streams. Yeah, I think this is going to be winding down now. Like, we've been running for about nearly an hour. So we'll wind this down. But yeah, so Yash saying please stream New Orleans. So when the new update drops, so when the Mansions update drops, we will do. We'll definitely get a little stream going on the Gameloft channels for G&O. Really awesome. Looking forward to that massively. Oh, it's gonna be great. But otherwise, yeah, guys, let me know what you want to see in terms of streams going forwards. Now we've got the Twitch channel back as well. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff there. And I'm hoping, unconfirmed yet, still waiting for the team to confirm that Dungeon Hunter 5 are going to be doing something cool this week on there. So watch this space just in case. They had some pretty good plans in the pipeline. So yeah, definitely look out for that. But otherwise, yeah, guys, let me know what you want to see. Cool stuff coming. Are the gameplay streams useful? Would you like to see more of them? Would you like to see, despite the fact that they are works in progress, they are still under development, would you like to see streams of soft launch games, even if that game isn't necessarily available in your area, to get more sneak peeks, that sort of side of things? Let me know. I'll be honest, that's one of the conversations we've been having, is kind of how much do we show of soft launch titles, especially when we know that soft launch varies from game to game. For one game, it could be 1 to 2 months. For another game could be in soft launch for like 6, to be honest with you. So yeah, let me know if that's something that you guys would like to see. One thing that I think the MCVS team have done really well is keep the community abreast of like all of the kind of patch notes and regular updates coming through as part of soft launch. And I know there's a big community sort of gathered around that, which is really nice to see. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see stream-wise. And if it's new stuff, hit me up as well. If it's stuff in soft launch, let me know as well. Let me know if that would be useful. We're going to be taking on a lot of feedback in terms of kind of these streams, this video content. And let me see, and let me know where you want to see it as well. I know, like, so we're broadcasting to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook today. We'll probably end up limiting the Facebook streams to maybe 1 or 2 per week. But obviously Twitch gives us an opportunity to do a whole lot more and also get you guys involved as well. As I said at the top of the stream, if you are content creators, you're interested in making Gameloft content, you're already making Gameloft content and you just like us to essentially give you guys a shout out, whatever. There's gonna be stuff coming in the next few weeks that I hope to make you a part of. It's gonna be good. Lots of people saying Dead Rivals. No surprises there. As soon as the game, I'll tell you this, as soon as the game team give me a green light to stream Dead Rivals on Gameloft, I will be doing it. I promise you that, and you guys will be the first to know. And hopefully, yeah, when it launches worldwide, we'll be able to play together. It'll be great. Yash asking, will we get Brothers in Arms 4? No plans for that currently. Licensed title, belongs to Gearbox, obviously. There are absolutely no plans for that at the moment. So yeah, Danny's saying, your hair is fabulous, Matt. Thank you very much. I grew it myself. It was good. Dark Viper Sniper. I am reading chats. I'm having to flip between a couple of them. Okay, your question was, why is PvP in Dungeon Hunter 5 not real players? Why do you fight bot versions of real players? So, I think it's just what was... I guess in terms of infrastructure, it allows for quicker matchmaking. It means you're not sitting in lobbies, and I think sort of the asynchronous part of things has been a big part of Dungeon Hunter 5. I mean, you create characters, you're always fighting other people, like with other people's characters and avatars in single player. So it kind of made sense to sort of be able to challenge the best of the best from other players in terms of the arena. Now, whether or not we'll end up with full-on proper PvP, that kind of remains to be seen. But I think with a game like Dungeon Hunter as well, like, I don't know that they're necessarily fully set up for that in terms of servers, in terms of like all of the infrastructure that would need to be in place to make sure that latency for that was absolutely seamless. Because this is the thing, activating powers would need to be seamless, instantaneous. That's not to say they wouldn't be able to do it, and it's not to say that they're not planning it for the future. But I think it was a nice thing to be able to do, to expand in terms of game modes, to allow players to sort of challenge the best of one another and their friends. And yeah, like who knows? We may well, it might come in the future. We shall see. John Paul saying, stream all over me. Well, that can be arranged. Aman has noticed my t-shirt. Yes. Awesome. Good stuff. Oh, man. I wondered how long that was going to take. We got there. Someone did it. Brilliant. David's saying, I've been thinking about DML if there's a chance. Might start to change the UI. Seems a little bit repetitive sometimes. Just random asking. Dude, that is awesome feedback. Here's the thing, if you guys have ideas for games, if you guys have like ideas like in terms of directions, the way you want to, or the way you like to see things go, the forums, that's what the forums are there for. We've recently renovated them along with like the new blogs. We've created new forums. It's a little bit tidier, a little bit neater now. Get stuck into the conversation there. Give feedback. The teams are always watching it. They're always reading that stuff. So yeah. Whatever feedback you've got, positive, negative, be polite about it, yeah? Like, don't be lame. Remember the first rule of the internet. But yeah, give the feedback, because like, the teams will read it, they'll take it on board. It might not happen, but you'll never know if you don't, put your voice out there and express your opinion. Gameloft, will you ever make a game like MC4 but in third person? I don't really know. If I was looking into my crystal ball, again, I don't really know. A colleague and I were having a conversation today about how cool a kind of MOBA might have been in the Blitz Brigade universe, or something like that. Something in between Blitz Brigade itself and Rival Tactics, like something that's maybe a little bit isometric, where you've got maybe sort of 4 classes, 2 characters in each class, or whatever, and it's kind of that tactical, real-time, actual battling, third-person kind of isometric style. That could be quite cool. Like Blitz Brigade MOBA could be quite interesting. But I don't think there's any. Yeah, there's no plan to make a game like MC4 in third person as yet. I know when people ask a lot of that, they're asking if we're going to make a game like Brothers in Arms again, and it's difficult to say. The other thing is that all of those games were predicated on premium models. So, given the current focus for Gameloft in terms of building platforms that we can iterate on for years to come, and creating games that do have like half-decade long longevity, it's difficult to say, but we shall see. Fire Sparrow. Oh, I didn't answer your question, dude. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling. The chat is moving so fast. I didn't find it. Retype it, man, and I'll ask. Gamer Can Dream says, I want to work in Gameloft. That's something to aspire to, man. That's awesome. Gameloft is awesome. Offices all over the world, studios all over the world. Whether you're interested in marketing or admin or finance or game dev or social media management or video production or whatever, like there are so many roles here. It's really cool. So always keep an eye on the careers pages. Keep an eye on the Gameloft on LinkedIn as well. And start building up your network, start building up your portfolio. Think about what it is that you want to do and start doing it. And people will take notice. Colin Chester saying, can you make any games with Magic and Pen World involved? Interesting. Sort of tabletop RPG style. That could be a curious one. But there are a few really good ones out there already. Knights of Pen and Paper is a really good game already out there that kind of does that incredibly well. I'm not sure we'd necessarily look at that. But it's certainly cool to think of. Jack's saying, talk about Gangster New Orleans. It's awesome. Updates coming. Mansion updates coming. People have been asking about this. Again, another example of asking you sort of shall receive. It should be really, really good. No hard date just yet. It was supposed to go this week, but a few things need tweaking. Keep an eye out for it. It is coming. We will do a stream when it launches. Basically just go on a few rampages with a minigun. It's so funny. It's so much fun. Superman Gameloft, one channel says that you are a robbery company. What do you have to say to that? I'm not entirely sure I understand what that means. So, no. Are Vegas updates still a thing? They are kind of happening, but I don't think they'll be happening very much going forward. I think all focus is pretty much on GNO at this point. Litchi10 saying, hey Gameloft, Heroes of Order and Chaos, one of the best MOBAs on mobile of all time. Why did we stop updating it? So there are a number of reasons why games end up sort of just treading water or updates stop happening. A lot of it is down to sort of audience size, which is a real shame in some cases. Because I know like people end up falling in love with games, and it can be heartbreaking, not just for like people who play, but for the dev teams as well. Like if not enough people pick up on a game, and this is especially true when you're doing a freemium model. Like if you don't get enough people sort of downloading the game and sticking with it, yeah, you end up sort of hitting a crunch point where it's kind of, well, we can kind of keep pumping money into this, or we just kind of move on to the next thing. And it's always a really hard decision. It's always a really difficult thing to do. But in the case of Heroes of Order and Chaos, the unit size just wasn't really big enough. It's just one of those things that didn't quite take off as we'd hoped that it would. All right, we're going to start wrapping this up, guys. But thank you so much to everyone who sent in questions today, everyone who's been involved with the chat. Cyan asking, will we make a Dragonball game? No idea, man. Licenses are a difficult thing. They often take months to kind of work out. The Avenged Sevenfold thing, for example, it took a long time to put together. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to licenses. And yeah, a lot of conversations that have to take place. Never say never, of course, but it's not something we're currently looking at. That being said, I love hearing like your guys like suggestions. We do it in the office as well. Like, just imagine throwing stress balls around. What a game of this kind would look like. It'd be really cool. All right, we're going to take a couple more and then we'll stop this. Patchy Playing saying, hello, greetings from Argentina. Greetings indeed. Do you know when Modern Combat Versus will come to Latin America? It's come out in several countries already. So soft launch, the rollout of soft launch, it changes from game to game. I think like there were plans to kind of expand soft launch, I think, to Brazil, but ultimately I think we're going to just go straight. I think this is the plan currently right now. We'll end up going straight to a sort of global launch once the game is ready. People are aware about it now. Like they know what it is. They've pre-registered. We've moved into the kind of that phase. We're ramping up. We're rolling on towards launch now, like full on worldwide launch. Niles saying, see you later, Fuse. I think Fuse. Well done, Niles. Good stuff. Fuse the dragon. It's nice. All right, so we're going to wrap that up there, guys. Thank you so much again to everyone who sent in messages. If you've got other questions, hashtag AskGameloft on Twitter. Really cool stuff. And yeah, I'll try and get through as many as possible. People asking about new Spider-Man game. As I said earlier, nothing planned currently, but do check out the Homecoming update for Spider-Man Unlimited. It's been great chatting to you guys today. Let me know in the comments if these things are useful. Like, if you want to see regular Ask Gameloft, even if it's just a touch base and ask some really dumb questions. Like, yeah, like I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. But anything you want to know, silly, serious, it doesn't really matter. Let me know if it would be useful to do this on a more regular basis. And it could be weekly, it could be fortnightly, it could be monthly. We'll work it out. Hello, gamers. When does Dead Rivals come to Spain? Dead Rivals, we're not ready to talk about it just yet. It's still in active development. Very, very early stages of live testing. I'm going to make a little thing just explaining soft launch, explaining that in a little bit more detail, because I think there's still a little bit of confusion over what it is and what it represents. I think a lot of people still think, oh no, this game is available in the Philippines, but not in my country. Why? This is totally unfair. And honestly, you probably wouldn't want to play the game at that point. Yeah, like if we could do live testing in quite an expansive environment without kind of putting it out there, I think we probably would. But it's tricky. Cyan's saying do it weekly. Daddy's saying you should make this a weekly series. All right, thanks guys. Keep the feedback coming. Like I literally read everything. I'm quite sad. I have nothing else to do, so I spend my time reading all of your comments. I'm responding to half of them. But yes, let me know if you guys have any feedback. Let me know what you want to see Thursday. We're going to be doing a stream on Thursday. Actually, we're going to have an Asphalt. I think we're going to have a Street Storm stream on Gameloft on Wednesday. I think we've got a Street Storm stream. I cannot do tongue twisters today. I just can't. Street Storm stream. happening on Wednesday. Those have been a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some pink slip stuff for that. There's going to be a lot of pink slip stuff. I have the game team's approval. Basically, there are some new cars coming to the game. You guys might have seen the tease. I'm going to be racing them. And as much as we can, I'm going to try and do as many pink slips races as possible. So I'm basically going to stockpile my garage with all of these new cars, and then we're going to sort of give them away. Not actually give them away, because you're going to have to win them by racing, but sort of give them away. So yeah, tune in Wednesday for that. That'll be happening. It's going to be great. Lots of people saying they want to see more remastered games. That's really good feedback, and I love that. Hit us up on like the N.O.V.A Legacy pages, in the forums as well, because that's a good shout. We have a department, so we have an initiative with like an internal initiative called Pocket HD. I've explained this a little bit before as well, where we purposefully make games with a very small download imprint, designed for lower end devices, designed for slightly less powerful phones. A lot of our games, you've probably noticed, are geared towards like AAA, like they're big expansive titles, Modern Combat Versus, Gangsta New Orleans. We know compatibility has been a little bit of an issue, but for those ones as well, there is a hard fact that some phones just won't be able to run them ever. Like, we're never going to get 100% compatibility on those devices. But we do have this initiative internally called Pocket HD, where we try and make titles really designed for like low-end phones, budget phones, but also older devices as well. Like, it's important to us that those kind of experiences are brought to newer audiences too, which is why N.O.V.A Legacy happened. And there is something coming later this year, hopefully, that will also fit into that category as well. I've said too much. Actually, those of you who watched my last stream, or the last one I did of this, might twig what it is. I need to start finding a way of like sprinkling little leaks, not little leaks, but little reveals, little Easter eggs into these streams. Maybe on the mantelpiece behind me, or maybe Fuse could have a little speech bubble that just says, that gives a little clue each week we do this. That might be a nice little interesting thing. Remake the Snake game at 4K, 60 FPS, and graphics so real you mistake it with reality. Oh man, Indiana Jones wouldn't play that game. He hates snakes. It'd be bad. Rocket asking about Sonic. I did answer this earlier on. We've got no updates on that front, I'm afraid, my man. Apologies. And Hexinos asking, any horror games? Not currently, not in terms of like true horror. I mean, Dead Rivals will feature zombies, but nothing in terms of true horror. Abnaim saying, I love you, Gameloft. And that seems to me like a good place to end today. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, let me know if you want to see this on a more regular basis. We've had a few people say that weekly would be a good idea. I'm up for that. We'll be doing more stuff as well. And yeah, if you're a content creator, get excited, because things are going to start happening. So yeah, I've been Matt, your Gameloft community manager. You can hit me up on the English language social channels. You can also find me on Twitter at FuzzyPixels. So yeah, I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you for all the questions. Keep sending them in, keep using the hashtag. We'll factor them into the next video. But until then, bye guys. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And I'll hopefully see you Wednesday for some serious Pink Slips Street Storm.